All right, let's see. How do I do this? Okay. Okay, I'm sending myself likes. I'm gonna figure out how this works. Guess not. Interact, share. Let's see, how do I share? Okay. Hey guys, this is that hypnotherapist chick doing my first live. I'm going to be taking some questions about hypnotherapy and just kind of talking to you guys and telling you a little bit more about what hypnotherapy is, the difference between hypnotherapy and hypnotism. Any questions you have to ask, I'm here to answer. And yeah, thank you for joining my live. So, give you a little bit of background about myself. My name is Sarah, Sarah Green, and I am a certified hypnotherapist. I primarily do hypnotherapy for people dealing with trauma. So I do a lot of hypnotherapy for people who have PTSD, CPTSD, long-term trauma issues, and I've been practicing as a hypnotherapist for a year now. I started my own practice in February here in Tampa, Florida, and I absolutely love what I do. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them down there and I will answer them. But in the meanwhile, let me see if I can get set up here. I decided to go live today because I have questions about how to heal certain types of trauma. And I want to give you guys answers because I know not everybody can afford therapy. And my goal really is to help people to heal and help people to get past some of the traumas they've occurred in their lives. So especially people who have long-term traumas dealing with family issues. We all have some experience at some point in our lives where we've been traumatized, where we've gone through a lot of hurts. And they make points in your life where it's kind of like pinning yourself to that age that you got traumatized. So for instance, let's say, nobody's childhood was 100% perfect. But let's say you were around 5 years old, 6 years old, and you had a traumatic event happen. Maybe someone you love passed away. Maybe there was a history of SA. Maybe there's a history of abuse in some form. Maybe you had somebody in your family abuse you in any way, whether it was mental, emotional, spiritual, right? Oh, thank you, Mr. Frigid. That's awesome. Maybe you've had that happen in your life. And you find yourself being drawn back to that situation. And it may not be something that you'd rather admit was really serious, but you're feeling it. You're feeling the effects of it. What I want to do tonight is kind of take some questions about different questions that you guys have about how hypnotherapy can help you, but also how to get past the trauma, get past that stuck point in your life so that you can move forward. Okay. So let me put this up here, because I don't want to hold the phone the whole time. And I want to kind of explain to you guys how trauma works and what happens when you're holding on to trauma that you're unable to let go of. So there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And in the book, The Body Keeps the Score, it talks about how trauma is held within different organs in your body. Right? So perhaps you have an issue that you're not sure why you're constantly sick, like your kidneys are constantly failing, or something like, are you reading my mind? I might be, Crystal. I might be. How do you mean? You might be having a trauma that has triggered something in you. For women, a lot of times it's fertility issues. For men, it can be anything from neck soreness and tension to anything dealing with maybe even like your thoughts, anxiety, depression, that kind of thing. If you had a trauma occur to you when you were a child or when you were a young adult even, it pins you to that point. And so I want you to imagine that something happens to you when you were a child and you are continuing to grow up, but a part of you is pinned to that point in history, that point in time. And no matter how far you get along in life, it feels almost like you're stuck, like something has just been pulling you back, yo-yoing you back to that point, and it's like you can't move past it. That's something that usually happens when you have a trauma that has happened to you and is holding you subconsciously, holding you back. Christy said, I've been through a lot of everything you named off. Okay. So how do you get past that point? I want to give you guys some tips and tricks tonight to help you move past that point, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pinpoint the initial onset of the trauma. For instance, you want to find that point that is keeping you pulled back. When you find that point that's keeping you pulled back, you want to find the feelings associated with it, and you want to find the beliefs that those feelings are causing. So if you were 6 years old and your mother or your father left you or left behind, you don't know why, you don't know what has happened. You're, as a child's mind though, you may take it and internalize it and think it was your fault. And it was not your fault. You had, hello, Queen Neppy, hello, a random movement, a random event, and Camilla. And so you have this thing where you have now placed into your subconscious mind the feeling of despair, of fear, of hurt, and it creates the belief that you were not worthy of being cared for, that you were not worthy of being taken care of. It may set a belief in your mind, where in your subconscious mind, where you believe now everyone's going to abandon you because you believe that you're not deserving of love. So what you want to do is you want to get to the root of where that feeling is creating that belief. I want you to imagine that the feelings are what you feel in your body. The feelings are the things that you'll know a feeling. If I say to you right now, I feel sad, you know how the feeling sad manifests in your body. You may feel it here in your heart. You may even feel it in your solar plexus, but that sadness starts to weigh down. Well, the beliefs are like seeds, and the seeds get planted in your subconscious and they grow. And then they end up branching out and affecting every area of your life. So what we try to do is find out how it's affecting the different areas of your life. For instance, if you were abandoned as a child, it may cause you to have a fear of abandonment in relationships. It may cause you to have relationship anxiety because now you're afraid that you're going to be abandoned by everybody that you love. So you start to push people away. You start to shy away. Next thing you know, you're not having fulfilling relationships. And this can happen across the board, from your work and career life to happening across the board to your romantic life, platonic friendships, almost anything. And so once you find what those beliefs are, now you want to create a list of beliefs and feelings that you would rather have. So we're using the example of if your family abandoned you or somebody in your family abandoned you. What you're wanting to do is go ahead and write that list of beliefs and say, you know what, instead of feeling sad, I'd rather feel happy. And instead of believing that I'm unlovable, I'd rather believe that I am lovable. I'd rather believe that I am worthy. I'd rather believe that I am protected. And within hypnotherapy, what you would do is either you come into a hypnotherapist's office or you would do it virtually, and they would go ahead and place you into a state of utter calmness, relaxation, where your conscious brain does not exactly have control. Now, during the whole time, you are in control. During the whole time, you know exactly what's going on around you, but it's like it just doesn't matter. And what this does is it allows us to talk to your subconscious mind without something called the critical factor rising up and stopping us. So the critical factor, imagine that it's like a drawbridge. It's like a knight guarding a drawbridge into your subconscious mind. So the critical factor will come and it will, say halt. Who goes there? You're not allowed to get past. So what we do is we make friends with that critical factor, so it allows us to go through and then to carry you through the events of traumatization that will allow us to go ahead and grow that part of you up that has been stuck so far back. Grow it up feeling the beliefs and the feelings that you would rather have felt. And it is literally like watching, almost in a dream state. It's like watching your child self grow up, feeling that love, feeling protection, feeling cared for that you wish you would have felt. Now, let's say that you come in and you've been having a fear of flying. Once we get to the root of it, we may find, because your subconscious knows and sees and hears everything, even things you don't realize it's knowing, hearing, and seeing. So let's say that you come in for a fear of flying. We find out that fear of flying is related to the fact that a parent abandoned you at some point and you have not felt protected. So now you've been afraid of flying for the last 30 or 40 years, or it may have grown incrementally. You didn't start out that way, but as you got older, you got more and more fearful of flying. So you find that the root of the fear is because you were abandoned, or you felt abandoned. Now, once we go in and we grow that part up, that part may need to confront the parent. That part may need to just simply talk to you and talk to the adult you that can tell it, hey, you're safe now. You're protected now. Everything's okay now. In order for it to feel safe growing up. And then you find that the fear of flying dissipates. You find that whatever phobia or fear you came in for has dissipated because now you've taken the part that was afraid and you've allowed it to grow up feeling protected and loved. So that's pretty much what hypnotherapy is. That's a very, very general basis of it. But once you grow that part up and it grows up to be who you are, then we do something called integration, and we allow you to reintegrate with that part of you that we just grew up. And seeing the transformation for some people is the kind of catharsis where they may need to scream, they may need to yell, they may need to have a full out tantrum, allow that child to express itself, because at some point that child, that hurt part of you was not heard. At some point that hurt part of you has not been listened to. And once it gets listened to and it has a chance to express itself, you'd be surprised how willing it is to grow up feeling the feelings and beliefs, believing the beliefs that you set in initially wanting to believe. So if you are at home, one thing that you can do to help yourself start on your transformation and your healing journey, because this is, you didn't get traumatized overnight, but you can heal fairly quickly. It won't take you another 30 years for it to happen. But if you're doing this on your own, it can take time. What I want you to do is get a journal. You're going to get a journal, a notebook, a ream of paper, but you're going to need a good amount of it. And you're going to actually write down across the top the issue that you're wanting to solve. So somebody that's here, can you give me an issue that you would want to work on? If anybody will give me a suggestion, I'll wait a moment. But yeah, somebody give me a suggestion of something you would want to work on, and we're going to walk through it together. And it can literally be anything. And if I have to, okay, I like that. Thank you, Queen Neppy. So self-esteem. So let's say that a person is having an issue with self-esteem, and they come in and they're wanting to work on building up and improving their self-esteem. The first thing we're going to do is kind of get to the root of where the self-esteem is experiencing its lowest level. For some people, they may have high self-esteem when it comes to their mind or being able to go to school and pass, but the self-esteem may be, okay, weight. So the self-esteem may be associated with their weight. They may not feel worthy of something because of their weight. Now, in the society we live in, the media is set up to make people feel less about themselves, because if you feel so great about yourself, you're not going to want to buy products, right? So if you're having low self-esteem about your weight, we're going to go ahead and write across the top of that journal, I want to improve my self-esteem about my weight. Underneath it, we're going to create a statement that says, I feel bad about myself because I am not the weight I want to be. Then we're going to have two columns. One column is going to say, it's going to be column A, and it's going to say, these are my feelings. Then you're going to have right below column A, you're going to have row B, and it's going to say, these are the beliefs. Over in column B, we're going to write the opposite of what those feelings and beliefs are. So in column A, if you have on there, when I think about my low self-esteem about my weight, it makes me feel. And you're going to write out 5 to 6 feel statements. So when I think about my self-esteem with my weight, it makes me feel sad. Somebody else, go ahead. Anybody can, one of you guys can go ahead and give me words about feelings. But you can say, when I think about my self-esteem and my self-esteem being low because of my weight, it makes me feel disappointed. When I think about self-esteem and my weight, it makes me feel frustrated. So taking those 3, we've got sad, we've got disappointed, we've got frustrated. Underneath that, discouraged. Very good. We've got discouraged. Now underneath that, we're going to find the beliefs associated. So when I think about my weight and it makes me feel sad, it makes me believe that I am, you could say, it makes me believe that I am always going to be overweight. When I think about my self-esteem concerning my weight and it makes me feel discouraged, it makes me believe that I may never lose the weight. So understand the difference between feelings and beliefs are this. Feeling very good, helpless. When I think about my self-esteem and my weight, and I feel sad, it makes me believe that I am helpless. Feelings are things that you typically can feel somewhere in your body. They manifest in your body. Sadness will manifest a lot of times for people, like I said before, in your heart, your solar plexus, or your head. But beliefs are those seeds that are created from the feelings, and they are not necessarily factual, but you know that you believe that it is. It makes me believe that I am helpless. It makes me believe that I am ugly and unworthy. Good job. Thank you. Good job, Neppy. So when you put on there that these are my beliefs, these are my feelings. Now in the next column, you're going to write what you would rather feel, and you're going to write what you would rather believe. So instead of feeling discouraged, how would you rather feel, Queen Neppy? Instead of feeling helpless, or instead of believing that you are helpless, what would you rather believe, Crystal? I'll wait a second for you guys to respond. And instead of believing that you're ugly and unworthy, what would you rather believe? That is sometimes the hardest part. Because even though we'd rather believe something positive, being positive, contrary to what New Age, beliefs may say, it is not always easy. It's not always easy to say that I'd rather have this positive outcome when the sunshine seems like it's so far away and so impossible to reach. But what I want you to do is to make it simple. You're going to think of the exact opposite of the word you chose. So instead of feeling discouraged, I'd rather feel encouraged. Instead of believing that I'm helpless, I'd rather believe that I am capable. Instead of believing that I'm helpless, I'd rather feel like I'm a strong woman. Once you have the opposite list of beliefs, what you're going to do is this. Now, what we would do in the office is at this point, I would go ahead and repeat these back to you. And I go ahead and tell you, okay, I want you to drop below your chin, but above your waist. And you're going to tell me where you feel these words. So let's do that. If you're on this live, I want you to go ahead and just take a deep breath in. And I want for you to think to yourself the words I'm about to say. I want you to think below your chin, above your waist. Where am I feeling these feelings? When I say the words discouraged, helpless, ugly, unworthy. When I say those words, where do you feel them? Does it hit you here in your heart? Does it hit you in your throat? Is it hitting you in your sacral area, your solar plexus? Is it hitting you down in your root? Wherever you feel that feeling, you're going to pinpoint it. Does it feel heavy? Does it feel sharp? Is it a pain? Is it dull? How does it make you feel? And the reason you want to get that is called a felt sense. The reason you want to get that is because you want to find where the blockage is. So if you're feeling that feeling in your throat, throat is also connected to your sacral, to your sacral chakra. The throat and the sacral chakra have to do with creativity. And it's okay for you to cry, Crystal. It's perfect. That's actually good because you want to unblock those points. When the throat chakra is blocked, when the sacral chakra is blocked, they work together to help you feel safe. They work together to help you feel creative. They work together to help you feel as though you are capable and that you are firm and sturdy in yourself. When they are blocked, you don't feel any of that. You feel unsafe. You feel incapable. So what you want to do now is once you get the feeling, and as you set it in your throat, I want you to go ahead and you're going to place your dominant hand on that point. And you are simply going to close your eyes down and you are going to tell that part. You can say it out loud or you can say it internally. You're going to tell that part, it's okay. I'm working on it. We are going to heal. And you want to reassure yourself of that. Because the work that you're going to be doing, it's not easy. It's not always fun, but it's not always hard either. What you're going to do with that is now you're going to allow yourself to sit with the feeling. You're going to sit with those emotions. You're going to allow yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling. You're not going to hide from it. You're not going to push it away. You're going to acknowledge it because it needs to be acknowledged. The feelings that you've been feeling that are negative, we've been taught in society not to talk about it. We've been taught not to pay attention to it. We've been taught to push it aside and to bury it. We're not going to do that anymore. Now we're going to validate it. And we're going to say, I hear you. I see you. Yeah. I've been feeling weak. I've been feeling as though I'm incapable. I acknowledge you. I see you. What would you like to do about it? And you sit with that feeling for as long as you need to sit with that feeling. And once you've released and you've told that part it can talk, now you're going to listen. So when you're in a hypnotherapy session, what we do is we go back and forth, and it's like passing a microphone. So to do that this way, what we'll do is this. If you were here and you were in a very relaxed state, we're going to go ahead and work on getting in a relaxed state tonight. I want for you to just get someplace comfortable where you can either sit comfortably and quietly. If you're not in a place where you can sit comfortably and quietly, that's okay. But I want you to perhaps take this later because you're going to find a place where you can sit comfortably quietly. You don't have to sit up straight and tall. We're not meditating per se. You're going to sit back, you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to relax. And you're going to take in some deep breaths. So if you're able to do this right now, you're going to go ahead and take in a deep breath for a count of 4. You're going to hold it for 4. And you're going to release it for 4. Okay? And we're going to do that a couple times. So if you'll do it with me, let's do it now. So go ahead, take a deep breath in. Good. Hold. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Let's do that again. Go ahead, take a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Release for 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Breathe normal. You're now in a state where you're feeling more relaxed. I want you to listen to the sound of my voice, and I want you to hear me. You are safe. You are in control at all times. What you're going to do right now is you are going to allow those feelings to kind of surface. We're not going to shut them down. We're going to recognize and acknowledge them. The feeling of feeling as though you are worthless, as though you are not strong, the feeling of feeling that you are weakened. You said that you feel helpless. You're going to acknowledge those feelings and you're going to allow them to rise. And if you need to cry, you're going to cry. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count you down. We're going to count down by 10. And I just want for you to take a moment to relax. And you're going to listen to the sound of my voice. Listening to the sound of my voice, I'm going to count you down from 10. And with each step down, you're going to allow yourself to relax 1 time deeper. Just 1 time deeper. When I get to 7, you're going to allow yourself to relax 2 times deeper. 2 times deeper. And when I get down to 5, you're going to allow yourself to relax 3 times deeper. 10. Allowing yourself to relax, going deeper down, deeper still. 9. Deeper, deeper down. 8. Deeper, deeper, deeper. 7. Allow yourself to relax 3 times deeper, deeper down, deeper still. 6. 2 times deeper, deeper down, deeper down. 5. 3 times deeper. 4. Relax, relax, relax. 3. Deeper down, deeper still. 2. Relax, relax. And 1. Deeper down, deeper down, deeper still. Now take a deep breath in through your nose and all the way out through your mouth. I want for you to imagine that you're just in a relaxed state. You're not in a state of hypnosis. You're simply in a relaxed state. All those feelings that you have been feeling that have been held in your throat or in your heart, you're going to acknowledge those feelings in this relaxed state. I want you to imagine that the words that you wrote down on that paper are the words that you have written down on the screen, that they're swimming and floating around you. The feeling of helplessness, the feeling of not being good enough, the belief that you may not be worthy, that you are weak. And I want you to imagine, as you see those words floating around you, you're going to imagine that in your hand you have an arrow. And when you hold that arrow up, you're going to imagine that all you have to do is toss it at each one of those words. And when you do, you find that those words, it penetrates the words. Any words that it won't penetrate, pay attention to it. You're going to imagine that when you throw the arrow, it penetrates and it pops them and they float to the ground and the arrow comes back to you. And you're going to do it with each one. And I want you to take a moment and go ahead and allow your imagination to be free. Once you have penetrated each of those words, if any of the words were not popped, were not penetrated, pay attention to those words. Because any of the words that you may have seen, any of the feelings that you may be having or beliefs that you may be having right now that have not been able to be destroyed or popped, they have a little bit of a stronger hold. And you're going to pay attention to those words, and when you get a chance, you're going to write them down on the paper, or you're going to highlight them or circle them. But if all of them popped, if you were able to destroy each of those words, what I want you to do now is I want you to imagine that on the ground right in front of you, you find stones. They can be any color. They can be any shape. They can be crystals. They can be rocks, anything. And on those stones, each one has a word. One of the words says strong. One of the words says bold. One of the words says loved. Whatever words you wrote that you would rather feel, that's what those stones say. And I want for you to pick them up. They're not going to be big stones. They're not going to be boulders. They're going to be light as feathers. And I want you to pick those stones up, and you're going to go ahead and find a place for them in your mind's eye, and you're going to set them up exactly where you can see them. These are the things that you rather believe about yourself, and they are written in stone. You know that you are capable. You know that you can do anything you set your mind to. You instinctively know that you are loved. You may not fully believe it yet, but you know it. You know that you can do anything you set your mind to. And what you're going to do is you're going to, in your mind's eye, you're going to set those stones up. In your journal, when you have a moment, you're going to highlight those words. You're going to write them, and you're going to write them bold. Because this is what you are going to implement into your daily life. The things that you wish to become, the things that you wish to know without a doubt, everything, every word, every positive thing that you wish to believe about yourself, it's already there. If it wasn't there, you wouldn't have it in your mind to even think of. The reason you can even think to yourself that you are strong, that you are capable, that you are worthy, is because it's already there. It's just a matter of getting your subconscious to accept it. Go ahead, take another deep breath in through your nose. Breathe it all the way out through your mouth. You're going to go ahead and allow yourself to pay attention to how you feel in your body right now. I want you to remember you are with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are going to have the opportunity to be your greatest critic or your greatest supporter. You can be your cheerleader or you can be your bully. But today we've decided we're going to be our own cheerleader. The same way that you would speak to your child, the same way that you would speak to your best, most cherished friend. That's how we're going to start speaking to ourselves. And we're going to be our own friend. That critic that's in your mind, in your head, telling you you're not good enough, we're going to make friends with that critic. Because usually that critic is there trying to protect us, but it's doing a very poor job. The reason that you now know that you deserve something better, something greater, something bigger than what you've had is because you're ready. You're ready. You're ready for that next level. You're ready for the growth. You're ready for the healing. You are ready. You know you're worthy. So, with that said, you've popped all those words, all those negative feelings and beliefs. You've popped them. Anything that did not pop or explode in your mind when that arrow hit it, you're going to go ahead and make note of it, because those are the words that we're going to be working on over the next weeks to come. And the positive, the beliefs that you want to implant, now you're going to take those words, the things you wish to believe, and you're going to take the next page and you are going to write I am at the top of it. And you're going to write all those positive beliefs and you're going to fill up that page, even if you're repeating them over and over. When we used to study in school, we were told the best way to remember something is through repetition. The best way to get something in your subconscious is through repetition, they would say. So you're going to fill up that page with that positive. You're going to write it down. And you're going to allow those positive new beliefs to implant. What we normally do in a hypnotherapy appointment, at that point, at the point of destroying those beliefs, is we go ahead and we do something called basically following the outcome. So we're going to, in a sense, pay attention to the feelings that you would be feeling once you just go ahead and release. I'm 6'2", you better have some big pockets, girl. But you're going to go ahead and take those feelings and those beliefs that you would rather have, and you're going to write them down. And you're going to do that before you go to bed. Before you go to bed. Because when you go to bed, the last thing you put in your mind, it gets encoded into long-term memory very quickly. And you want it to be encoded in your long-term memory, because now you're going to find that you start to transform. You're going to find that you start to transform. What's up, Kobe? And as you begin to transform, and as you begin to change, and you start to see yourself change, I'm going to tell you, you're going to see the people in your life change as well. Now, this can be very positive for some. This can be a feeling of negative at times, but I'm going to tell you too, if you have people, I'm so glad to hear that, Crystal. If you have people in your life who are negative and who are pulling you down, and you start to become positive and vibrate higher, guess what? They're going to fall off to the side. That includes people, that includes places, and that includes things like jobs. You're going to find that it falls to the side. Thank you, Queen Epi. Hearts to you too. And you're going to have to work on you so that you're okay when the negative people are the ones who were vibrating low, when they start to fall aside, because you're going to start attracting people, places, and things and experiences that are very high vibrating. You're going to find that your intuition changes. You're going to stop accepting garbage from people. It changes. When you change your self-esteem, it changes your self-worth. From the things you put into your body and feed yourself, to the things that you speak about yourself, to the way that maybe even you dress, things start to change, and it's incrementally. Remember, you didn't start negative, and you didn't get it overnight. So the change happens incrementally. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. The person that you see right now, I am not the same person I was this time last year. I am not. So much has changed, so much difference, even from manifesting my office. Y'all don't even understand. Things change. And if you are ready, willing, oh, it's magical. It's something else. We go through things in our lives. You show late. Hey, bestie. New things. We go through things in our lives because they're helping us to level up. They're helping us to get great. They're helping us to go ahead and step into who we were called. And when we start to step into who we were called to be, watch out. Watch out. Seriously, watch out. You don't even realize how powerful you are. But you're going to find out. Miss Crystal, Queen Neppy, y'all about to find out. Because when you start to step into who you are and you walk in your power, the whole world takes notice. And you start to build up that self-esteem. It doesn't matter if you weigh 500 pounds or 150. You start to walk different. Because you're going to start to realize every day that you are not this body. You are a spirit inhabiting a body who has a soul. And it sets you into such an awareness that now just because you don't look like whoever may be popular in the media today, in the 60s it was Twiggy. In the 50s it was Marilyn Monroe and Dorothy Dandridge. Nowadays it's who? I don't know, Kim Kardashian or Beyonce. Yes, you do make friends who are full of light. Love you too, Becca. You do make friends who are full of light, and people start to be attracted to you. You walk in a room and people are drawn to your light because you start to step into remembering who and what you are. And what you are is love. You are love. You are God having a human experience. You are pure love. And when you start to walk in the awareness of it, you start to love yourself. It even makes your enemies at peace with you. It does. I used to meditate and it helped, and then I stopped and it made me spiral down. Keep meditating. It's a lifelong practice. And a meditation doesn't have to be hours and hours long. Meditation, a lot of my meditations are multiple times throughout the day for like 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Find a spot on the wall and focus on it. It's not about clearing your mind. It's about being very present and aware of your mind. And I want to tell you, if you deal with anxiety, because I deal with anxiety, period. And so what I do is beyond acupuncture, I do acupuncture, and they always give me acupuncture here at my shin midpoint. So, I use ear seeds and push there. But during those times where I don't have those, what I do is I go ahead and make sure I remember to breathe. Because a lot of times we hold our breath. And then I work to become very aware of my body. Bring awareness to your body. A meditation is a prayer. So when you start to feel like you're in a spiral, first thing I want you to do is find a point on the wall, find a point in your hand, find something to focus on, because you want to become very aware. Because a lot of times when we're having anxiety, when we're having heaviness, it's because we're either living in the past or we're too focused on the future of what's to come that hasn't even happened yet. If you think back in your past, all the times you thought you weren't going to survive, and here you are now. You here. So you want to bring your focus to right here, right now, at this present point in time. You bring your focus to here and now, and you tell yourself, right here, right now, I'm safe. And if you still feel that heaviness in your body, somewhere in your body, that's okay. You're going to keep focusing on that point. I'm going to show you a trick. You're going to take your finger, and you're going to bring your finger up to your mouth, and you're going to actually rub your lips. Just rub them nice and slow back and forth while you're still focusing on that point. After you do that, you're going to do that for about 5 seconds. Then you're going to take your finger and you're going to follow your finger back and forth, back and forth. Because what you're doing is you're actually creating a response in your amygdala that is going to allow you to tell your fight or flight brain that you are okay, that there is no immediate threat, and that it can calm down. So you're going to follow that finger from side to side. And while you're doing that, remembering to breathe, you're going to tell yourself, I know right now you're anxious. I know right now you feel worried, but I want you to understand. And then while you're doing this, you're going to start speaking those positive affirmations. I want you to understand. Change your finger, and you're going to go up and down, that everything is working out for your highest and greatest good. You are capable and you are loved. And then you're going to switch the other direction. Everything is working out. You are safe and you are protected. Okay? Once you do that, you're going to find that your heart rate lowers. And there's a few other steps you can do with that, but for right there, that's enough for now. Because you want to bring your attention and you want to bring your awareness to the fact that in this moment in time, you are safe. At this moment in time, you are protected. You are okay. At this moment in time, everything is fine. We're going to work on ourselves and we're going to do it together. There's a lot of people who are healers that are waking up and they're working on their healing. It took me years to get to the point that I am now because I didn't have any direction. Once I got direction, it was pretty fast. It was pretty quick. It was less than a year once I had direction. So I'm here I stepped into my purpose and into my calling because it's that time. It's that time. And you're going to find that if you are a healer, you're going to be called to following and walking in your purpose. If you're a healer and you're called to help people heal, you may find that you go through a lot of stuff in life. You may find that you end up having a lot of things happen to you where you have people that's crazy because my daughter say I do that a lot, rub my lips. But interesting, you're self-soothing. You're self-soothing when you do that. People who are healers, you're going to find that as you start to awaken, and you're going to have times of awake, asleep, awake, asleep. You're going to have those times, and it's because it's exhausting at first. Until you build up stamina and until you build up belief, it can be exhausting. So you're going to find that the healers are waking up because the call has come. We're hearing it. We're hearing nature call for help. We're hearing neighbors call for help. We're hearing children's call for help. The earth is crying out. Animals are crying out. We're hearing it and we're feeling it. And we're being awakened so that we can be called to action because there are warriors on the battlefield who need us to heal so that we can help them heal. Understand, the warriors are some of the hardest people to work with because they have all these guards up. Healers, we'll have guards up, but it's not the same. So me, I'm a healer for healers. That's what I do. Majority of my clients are healers. They're either doctors, social workers, or mental health counselors and I was a social worker for 12 years because we are finding that the traditional therapy methods are not effective. They're revolving doors. I don't want my clients to have to come to me for years. I love y'all, but I want y'all to be healed and free so y'all can go do the work because the world needs to heal. We're not going to be here on this plane for forever. We're not immortal in that sense, only in a spiritual sense. So you're going to find that as you heal, it's going to draw more people to you who are vibrating higher, but it is also going to draw a lot of hurt people to you because they're going to be looking for the healing that only you can give. And I'm going to warn you, be careful because I should say it this way. It's going to draw people to you that need the healing that you're able to facilitate. I'm not the end all healer. The healer is source, the creator, the most high. For some people, they say God. Some people say the universe. I'm just a conduit. I'm a conduit. You're a conduit. You're a guide. And as you heal yourself, you're going to find that more people are going to see the results and they're going to want the same thing you have because you have something so precious. When you find out who you are and you begin to walk in it, it's precious. The world can't tell you who you are when you know who you are. That's it. And yeah, they can drag you out. It's like jumping into the ocean to go save someone drowning and they pull you down instead. You won't allow that to happen. When you walk in self-love, you will learn which people you have to love from afar, love from a distance, and you'll start to recognize which people you can just embrace and hug and hold on to and wrap up into you. And those people are going to be few and far between. So you have to be aware and very careful to keep yourself protected and guarded. Because when your light shines, understand, back at you, Kobe, when your light shines, understand this. You become a beacon for everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. You may start to attract people that say to you, oh, I love you. You know, I want to be in a relationship with you. But if you sit back, once you build up that discernment, you're going to see those little things that are like, something's not adding up. Something's not quite right. And it doesn't mean that you start to hate those people. Because I know some people are like, oh, I hate people. No, we don't hate people. We don't do that around here. We love them. But we also love ourselves enough to know how to put up a boundary. How to say, whoa, slow your roll, right? So you're going to find that you attract people that are high vibrating, and you will also attract some very low vibrational incubus, succubus energy people. And those people, as you build up your discernment, you're going to learn how to deal with them. But that's a whole nother live, because that could be a book. I mean, it probably is somewhere, but it could be a book. So paying attention to your energy and paying attention to your self-love is going to allow you to be very careful who you allow into your life. Because a lot of times the thoughts that we think about ourselves, yes it is, Crystal. The thoughts that we think about ourselves, a lot of times those are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are not our own. They're coming from a lot of other stuff. Anything from media, like TV and music. Be careful what you consume into your ear and eye gates. Be careful what you speak about yourself and you consume into your spirit. You're going to find that you're going to be more particular about the things that you watch and the people that you allow in and the places that you go. But yeah, we're going to be transforming this. The next year is going to be a very transformational year, not just for us individually, but for the whole planet. The whole world is changing. It's going through such a rapid change. The earth is truly in labor pains. It's in labor pains. Mama Pacha, she's in labor pains as whatever is preparing to be birthed is coming forth. And we're being asked to heal ourselves. And a lot of people are talking about trauma and healing because it is that time. So, I got 10 more minutes on here, guys. Are there any more questions? I got some answers. I appreciate you all so much. You're awesome. You are amazing. I thank you for joining my live. And the gifts and the roses and the 666 likes. Number of Venus. Bless you too. And as a matter of fact, I pray blessings, healing, and wholeness over every person that tunes in to my TikToks, to my live. I pray blessings, healing, and wholeness over you. You deserve it. You are worthy. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of joy. You are worthy of blessings and abundance and being taken care of. You are worthy of prosperity. You're worthy. How do you know someone has healed and ready for discharge? Oh, a lot of times they'll tell me. Usually after 1 or 2 sessions, whatever they came in to work on is cleared. I notice, depending on what the issue is they're coming to work on, when it's cleared by the messages they send me. Because I usually get like a text message, or I get an email, or I get a call say, oh my God, you're not going to believe this. The thing that I saw in my hypnosis session, in my hypnotherapy session, my father called me and I haven't heard from him in 20 years. And we had a talk and I realized I've really forgiven him. I've gotten 2 of those calls. Other times I've had people say, like, if somebody comes in because they're having trouble passing their boards, their state boards to become a doctor or nurse, that kind of thing, they'll call and tell me, I passed after 1 session. So, they're good. They're good to go. Sometimes they come back to work on other stuff. And the things that you are capable of working on with hypnotherapy is massive. It's not just like, I want to work on trauma. Some people actually come in because they want to just feel better about themselves overall. They want direction. I get quite a few clients actually that are in the tech field that are looking for direction for their purpose in life and what their real passion is. And so they come for a session and they'll usually hit me up later and say, hey, thank you, because I finally got the direction and then this opened up or this opportunity happened. So as far as knowing that somebody is healed, they tell me. I don't ever say to somebody, all right, you need 5 more sessions. No, they tell me. And quite often, it's usually after 1 or 2 sessions. Yeah. So I'll tell you guys a testimonial before I get off of here, because she gave me permission to talk about it. So I had a client come in and she was trying to figure out what was going on in her body reproductive wise and why she was still holding on to unforgiveness. She thought she had forgiven her mother and some other people in her family. And so we did her session, and in her session, she ended up having to grow up a child part of her that was stuck from childhood at a place where she'd been abandoned and had also lost her best friend as a child. And she blamed herself and she blamed the adults. So in her session, we get through all the prompts. She forgives, and she has this cathartic release right here on the couch where she's just shaking and she's crying and she's releasing. And once it was done, it was like a peace came over her, and I saw her go. And as soon as that happened, I knew that whatever that healing that she needed had happened. Whatever she was holding in her organs had released out. Remember, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed or transmuted, right? It can be passed on. It can be transformed into something else, but it can't be created or destroyed. So when you have a negative or a harmful or a heavy energy inside of you, you can't just take it out and say, poof, it's dust. No, you got to transform it. So we transformed her inner child, and it grew it up to being the age that she is now. And she had two parts. This is called parts therapy. She had two parts of her that needed to grow up, and to grow up feeling loved and cared for and protected. So once we grew those parts up, we integrated them, and then I took her straight into a regression session where we count down to 5. We count down, sometimes it's more, but for her it was just to 5, to a different part of her inner self, which was a garden. When we get down there, she sees a man tending to the garden, and I lead her through the prompts, and we ask his name. She tells his name. He tells her name. And like passing a mic back and forth, she talks to him, and he tells her she needs to forgive her her grandmother. Now, she had never known her grandmother, and she didn't know who this man was in her subconscious. So she asks his name, and he tells her. Well, once she forgave, she did all that in her hypnotherapy session. We come out of the session and finish everything up. I ask her how she's feeling. She says, I'm feeling well. The next week, I see her again, and I said, hey, you never called me. You're supposed to ask your mom, did she know anybody by this name? She said, oh, yeah, I asked my mom. She said that was her stepfather. I said, you didn't know, or step-grandfather. I said, you didn't know that? She said, no, never heard her mention this man before, and his name was what was in her subconscious. Now, maybe when she was a child, she heard something about him, but the way she described him, her mother said, oh, yeah, that's this person. And she sat there, and she and her mother had a conversation, and she'd had trouble talking to her mother for a long time. And she found out that her grandmother had kicked the mother out the house when she got pregnant underage. And this step-grandfather told her, bring my daughter back, bring her back, basically. It wasn't her real father, real grandfather, but bring her back. She'd never seen him before. She'd never known his name before. But apparently he's still protecting her garden. So when I hear stories like that, it makes me stop, and it makes me say, wow, there's something so much deeper to all of us, to this reality. There's something so much deeper to the life around us, to the world around us that we don't know. If you read the Bible, it says that things that you do not see are more real than the things that you do see. So we know that everything is made of electrons, protons, neutrons. They're made of atoms, right? Those things are the building block of all reality. We can't see them, but they're more real than this wall. They're more real than my skin because they make up me. So the spiritual things that we can't see are so much more real than everything before us. And we're able to actually manipulate it, to change it, to transform the reality right before us. We actually have that power. Wow, that's so powerful. Yes, it is powerful. We were literally created to be creators. Every choice we make every day, every word we speak about ourselves and others, my mother always raised me to believe this. Everything we say about ourselves, everything we say about others, about our situation, we are now giving life to it. So you always want to speak life. You always want to speak life into yourself, into your situation, even when it seems dire. And I know it takes practice. Trust me. I know it takes practice, but you want to speak it, because anytime you speak negative about yourself or your situation, you are cursing yourself and your situation, and you want to bless yourself. Just like you blessed me and said blessings to me, you want to do the same for you, because you're worthy, because you are deserving. Yeah. I love you guys. Thank you so much. You made this so easy. I am so appreciative. So I appreciate you so much. And I'll do another live next week. And I'll make sure I announce it on my page or in my story. So if you don't have any other questions, you're very welcome. Miss Crystal, thank you for joining. Queen Neffy, thank you for joining. Kobe and anybody else this one here, thank you for joining. I love you all. And I give you kisses. I give you hugs. And I give you blessings. So I'll see you guys soon. You got this. And I don't know how to shut this off, but I'm going to figure it out now. Let's see. Is this how I do it? Good night, guys.